LBJ, LBJ, how many kids did you kill today? That's something I heard when I was pretty young. I never went to the Vietnam Wall in Washington D.C. You know, my dad took me to the traveling Vietnam Wall when it came to Crescent City, and I had heard, over the years that my dad was a gravedigger in high school and that he got paid 10 cents an hour. And I also knew that my dad had some pretty liberal political perspectives, and I didn't understand why until later on in my years. Um, Being a gravedigger in high school during the high points up until the end of the Vietnam War, high school, that means that, well, let me just start with going to the wall. We went to the wall, when it came to Crescent City, and I have a pretty restrictive last name. You don't see my name a lot, my last name especially. But one thing is that when we went to the wall, you could look up names in the books and then go find them on the wall, and I found a lot of space in there that I didn't even know existed, and that's when I found out that there was black Spates that had taken the Spate name after the end of slavery. That's when I found out all kinds of weird shit, and it's the first time I see my dad cry in a serious, serious, serious way. Actually, it's the only time I've ever seen him cry with that kind of seriousness. And not until years later did I realize that my dad was sitting there in Weatherford, Texas, and Weatherford, Texas is a small town. You're not going to sit there at the graveyard in Weatherford and bury kids that are coming in from Vietnam and not know every single one of them personally, probably. So what I realized later on in the years is that my dad sat there and watched most of the kids that he knew graduate from high school and then get shipped back to him in a box, which he personally buried. And that's why I'm as liberal as I am, and that's why I'm as anti-Republican as I am, and that's why that's why I don't recognize any of these wars since World War II, because that was the only one worth fighting, in my opinion. The rest of it's a fucking staged fucking setup, a moneymaker, a reason to buy and sell arms. So, my political perspective in America, because I know that if you vote for the independent parties, or I know that if you don't vote for the Democrat, that the Republican is going to win. And that's why my political perspective is that I will always vote for the Democrat, even if he's got 666 tattooed on his forehead. And the reason being is because my fucking dad sat there and buried all of his fucking friends. And if we're humans and we're really looking for truth, then we're going to learn from the past and we're going to learn from our mistakes. And and for me to be anything other than loyal to all of those kids that got shipped home to Weatherford, Texas in the 60s and 70s for nothing, it would be I would be a disgrace to my ancestors not to take that into consideration this election year. Anyway, I got to go to work. You guys have a good day.